meaningful for me, apa yang saya rasa sangat-sangat best is because is when bila saya train budak-budak ni, bila dia masuk sampailah dia habis dia punya training tu, and then dia clear dia punya training and dia dapat fly as pilot in the airlines. Daripada cadet
I
pilot
see.
dia jadi a co-pilot. Dia jadi first officer, dia jadi second officer. That is very meaningful for me. Rasa sangat rewarding lah benda tu kan.
Okay, Farhan
Ya boleh.
You ambil SPM tahun 2000 apa?
Rasanya 2004-2005 macam tu SPM.
You one of my earliest student lah, ingat dekat situ. Time tu rumah you belum renovate lagi kan?
Ya, cikgu pun masa tu you datang kat rumah untuk ajar AdMaths. Tapi I remember cikgu pun ada juga dekat the tuition center yang dekat
Pulau Imo.
Subang Perdana tu.
Pulau Imo,
that
Cikgu
one.
Azizul kan?
Ya, cikgu
Kalau-
Azizul, betul.
So kalau you ingat, you dapat berapa? Kalau you ingat lah, AMAT you dan SPM you. Ingat tak?
Don't recall sangat lah, tapi not so great lah. I think in total I dapat SPM 5A kot. 5A. AdMaths not one of them. Not one of them.
Or mungkin B lah. Okay. So
Yeah.
I remember that time pun you dah cakap kat I, you somewhat you nak jadi pilot jugalah in a way lah. You dah kata lah. I ingat pun sikit-sikit terborak. Okay, so after SPM tu, you masuk mana? You belajar tu, you private kan? Cuba cerita sikit dari mana you masuk after SPM tu.
Yeah, after SPM tu, I masuk privately. I masuk dekat Asia Pacific Flight Training dekat Kota Baru, Kelantan.
Oh, okay.
So, untuk masuk jadi pilot, during that time tu ada few methods lah. Satu, I masuk privately, that means self-funded. Tapi ada juga, you can masuk with cadetship lah, kita panggil cadetship. And which is airline yang sponsor. Those are one of the few ways yang boleh masuk. I masuk privately. So, after SPM tu,
privately.
I relax kejap for a few months while waiting for the intake to open. Then, that I masuk terus lah. The whole flying school tu about 2 years. And then, I habis flying school tu about 2008, 2009, lebih kurang macam tu.
So, masa you nak masuk flying school tu, kita kena ada requirement SPM juga kan? Atau a bit lenient ke macam mana?
So, the minimum requirement untuk nak masuk as a cadet pilot, okay, you need 5. You have to have 5 subject. Out of these 5, apa yang you kena ada credit. Credit you have to have English, Mathematics and also Science. 3. Dan lagi 2 tu tak kisahlah apa-apa. Tak kisah apa-apa saja. Tapi total of 5 lah you have to have credit. Tapi kalau you nak jadi pilot, I highly recommend you punya the maths tu you kena ada, not AdMaths, mod maths mod maths as well as kalau you ada physics will make your time there a lot easier lah compare kalau you tak ada physics.
Physics
So those,
you dapat credit for physics lah kan?
yes, dapat science stream dulu. So I have physics, bio semua tu.
And math pun you okay lah, you dapat credit lah kot kan? Okay.
Kalau cikgu tak ajar tak okay lah.
Adalah sikit contribution. Berapa you cost tu that time lah? I mean it's like 20 years ago kan?
Time I joined tu, the cost fee is about 225,000, 240,000. That's the average lah pada time tu. Tapi sekarang dah way more expensive. Sekarang because the fuel price, the inflation dan pelbagai semua tu kan, so it's almost up to about 300 to 450 lebih kurang macam tu. Kalau you dapat below 400 tu consider murah lah.
You bayar 200k over tu for the 2 years lah untuk dapat license tu, is it?
Yes. For the whole 2 years. For the flying school lah. For the flying school.
Flying school.
So the whole after you graduate from flying school tu you akan dapat license. Kita panggil in the aviation tu kita panggil CPL-IR, maknanya Commercial Pilot License with Instrument Rating. Tapi once you graduate from flying school tu, that license tu you ada, tapi they call it frozen. So you need to unfreeze that license. So how you unfreeze that license is you kena masuk airlines and fly. Sampailah you dapat dalam 1,500 jam, then license tu akan tukar jadi ATPL. So Airline Transport Pilot's License. So bila you dapat ATPL tu, it's called unfrozen already lah. So with this ATPL ni, you can jadi captain, you can go to other airlines, apa benda semua tu lah. So that's how the flow is.
Dia macam kita ada lesen P lah. Nak dapat full license kena habiskan 2 tahun probation, something like that lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For flying, you need to accumulate the flying hours. Dia bukan ikut tahun, tapi ikut flying hours. Banyak you terbang.
I see. So lepas you dekat pilot school tu, 2 tahun di Kota Baru tu, lepas tu you balik KL lah. Lepas tu I jumpa you sekejap sebab I tuition adik you lepas tu. You kata you baru habis that time.
Yeah.
2009 tak silap. So dekat situ lepas tu
Around there.
you kerja kat mana nak dapat 1,500 hours tu?
So, I punya journey lepas I habis I punya flying school tu, tapi journey tu berkata turbulent sikit lah. Some people lepas dia habis flying school tu, dia terus dapat kerja. Maknanya dia apply dapat. Kan? Atau some yang masuk under cadetship, maknanya after dia dah habis dia punya flying school, terus company akan panggil dia, okay, you start the training dekat airlines pula untuk menjadi pilot orang. Tapi for me, because I'm private, so I have to apply myself lah. So time tu I apply lah. I apply Malaysia Airlines, I apply Asia, I apply mana-mana yang ada. Alright. Time tu Malindo tak ada lagi. Malindo belum keluar lagi. Tak wujud lagi time tu. Okay, dekat Malaysia ni. So I applied Asia, I failed about 3 times. I applied Malaysia Airlines, I failed about twice, tak dapat juga. Then after that ada peluang di overseas dekat Indonesia. So kat situ I dapat Sriwijaya Air dekat Indonesia. Tapi inilah start my journey tu jadi turbulent sikit because not so smooth. Masa dekat Indonesia tu, somehow or rather, the training tu was very slow. Very slow lah. Training tu pun bukannya tak perlu bayar. We have to fork out our own money. Tambah lagi. But I paid another about 100k. So the flying school about 220,000. So tambah lagi sini about 100k. Ni 125,000 lah overall kan. So, tapi training tu was very slow. Normally, training will take kat airlines about 6 months lah. Paling lama pun. Untuk complete all the ground class, simulator, flying punya training complete in 6 months. Tapi saya kat sana, dah 1 year, still tak buat lagi di flying punya training. So, it was average about, 1 month, 1 class, 1 month, 1 class. So, saya rasa macam wasting time. Progression tu macam tak ada lah kan. So, in the end, me and my batchmate decided to, tak nak wait anymore. Reapply balik somewhere in Malaysia and then we come back lah. And then after that was about 2008, 2009 tu. Saya datang balik sini. I applied for Malindo. Malindo time tu baru saja buka. During that time, masa saya jobless ni, memang ramai sangat ada pilot jobless as well. Aviation industry for pilot ni kan, dia punya cycle of the job tu, dia punya supply and demand tu is dia naik turun. Bila time aircraft semua expanding, airline semua expanding, sekejap je you dapat kerja. Masuk sub apply. Tapi bila the operation airline operation dah stabilize kan, maknanya they are not all of the aircraft yang dia order dah sampai, the operation dah stable, pilot dah cukup, time tu susah nak dapat kerja. So masa saya came back from Sriwijaya tu, it was the time of the cycle where, they don't need that pilot. They don't need that pilot. So, because of that, memang supply tu banyak. Ramai pilot. Kan? So, I remember one time masa I applied Asia tu, ya Allah. Bila dia buat the opening, I think about 300, 400 candidates applied. Went for the test semua kan. Yang dapat hanya dalam 8 orang. Out of 400, 8 saja dapat. So can you imagine the percentage of you, chances of you to get it memang very, very susah lah. So that time I struggle lah. I applied Asia, then I failed. I applied Malindo, I failed. Then I reapplied Malindo, I dapat. But then again, you kena bayar lagi sendiri. We call it the rating. Okay, to fly for the aircraft, you have to do the training on that particular aircraft. It's called a type rating. So type rating tu you kena bayar. So that time they asked for another about, I don't remember exactly lah, tapi dalam mungkin 120, 140 macam tu. Then, at that time we don't have any choice sebab tak ada dah. Kalau tak ada, you tak ambil ni, mana lagi nak kerja? Betul tak? So I say, okay lah, agree lah. Nanti carilah mana-mana cara nak fork out the money kan. Agree. Tapi at that time, because this airline Malindo ni is still new, so memang you nak tunggu you punya turn untuk nak start training tu, memang lama lah. Because in front of you berapa ramai lagi yang tunggu waiting for their turn to ni. Okay, so while I wait tu, I buat ada kerja lah. I kerja kat my mom punya Caltex dulu. Remember my parents ada Caltex dulu kan? I kerja lah, tolong isi minyak, buat cashier, tolong kira accounting, odd jobs lah tu kan. After that, I kerja juga dekat this place called AVX. AVX ni is a public punya fixed base simulator. Fixed base simulator tu maksud dia apa? Simulator tu dia lengkap dengan the cockpit, flight deck semua tu. Cuma dia tak ada hydraulic untuk nak gerak. Tapi good enough lah. So I kerja situ about 1 year and a half. Kan? So after that, simulator tu untuk public lah. Kiranya orang yang macam minat ataupun interested to see how the cockpit looks like semua kan, dia datang lah to this simulator ni. And sejam pun murah je. Sejam dalam maybe about 150, 200 macam tu kan. Then I guide them lah. I guide them. I guide them ni apa, ni buat apa. So kita simulate take off and landing semua kan. So I was there about 1 year, 1.5 year macam tu. Then ada peluang, ada airline buka lagi peluang which is Berjaya Air. Cikgu pernah dengar Berjaya Air? Have you heard of this?
Pernah dengar? Pernah dengar. Tapi sekejap je kan?
Yeah, so Berjaya Air still ada lagi kat sini. Cumanya
Ada lagi?
dia dia tak promote themselves sangat lah. Kiranya they are part of the Berjaya punya group. So Berjaya Air ni dia banyak fokus on flying the route yang pergi ke pulau. Pulau Redang, mana-mana yang ada apa ni, yang ada Berjaya Resort tu kan. So the customers dia boleh just buy a package of the hotel sekali dengan the flight. Macam tu. So that's their modus operandi lah. Dia punya operation macam tu lah. So I apply situ. That time diorang nak expand diorang punya fleet. They have a new project going on. Dia nak bawa kapal baru which is they call it kapal CRJ 200. So I applied. Alhamdulillah I dapat time tu. Dapat lah Berjaya. So Berjaya ni was actually yang boleh katakan the first airline yang I masuk and then I betul-betul dapat see, this is how an airline looks like lah. Masa dulu kat Sriwijaya tu rasa macam saya kena sidai je kat Indonesia tu kan. Sebulan satu kelas. Tapi ni bila masuk Berjaya ni baru dapat first experience macam, macam ni rupanya airlines punya operation. Macam ni rupanya airlines punya training. Kan? So I actually went through all the phases of the training kat Berjaya tu sampailah the moment where nak fly the actual kapal. Tapi unfortunately lagi turbulent kan saya cakap tadi. Unfortunately, the new project where dia nak bawa kapal baru masuk tu, kapal tu tak dapat the required certification lah, pelbagai semua tu, and then the project terpaksa shelf. So I did the training for aircraft yang tak sampai pun dekat Malaysia. Macam tu lah kiranya.
All this while after you balik from Indonesia tu you masuk Malindo tapi tak dapat
because of the queue. So that's why I pergi other places and I dapat this Berjaya tu lah.
You boleh pergi lah. You tak adalah kena kontrak whatever dengan Malindo. Boleh bebas juga lah you nak pergi.
Boleh. So because dia punya conditional contract tu will only take effect when you start the training.
I see.
And so
I see.
So
okay.
So I tak ada ni lah.
Okay, you sambung dari Berjaya tu. Okay, you tak dapat juga anyway. Lepas tu macam mana?
So Berjaya tu cerita dia, Berjaya tu still until today still operating. Cumanya that new project tu dia nak bawa kapal baru CRJ masuk, that project tak jadi. So unfortunately I am employed to fly that new aircraft, tapi aircraft tak masuk pun. So that dia terpaksa let me go lah kan. Then after that about 2014 nanti bulan 10 macam tu, I dapat offer masuk interview openings for Firefly. Firefly. Okay, so sampai Firefly tu sampailah sekarang. Sekarang ni I'm still with them. So I would say macam some people, I masuk 2014, I start the training semua. So I officially start to fly January 2015. That's I betul start to fly lah. Sampailah sekarang lah. So my career built on Firefly daripada co-pilot, second officer, first officer, naik captain, naik instructor, naik examiner, semua daripada situ sajalah.
So nak recap, so you take like after SPM lama juga you punya journey tu kan nak jadi real pilot tu you macam masuk kat Indonesia tu, lepas tu you masuk Malindo, masuk Berjaya, so it's like probably 7-8 years after SPM lah baru dapat Firefly, betul
Yeah, about that. Some people less than 1 year dah dapat dah. For me it took that amount of time lah. So memang lama.
Yelah, you kata setengah orang, is it common ke benda ni ataupun you je yang unlucky? I don't know.
Macam saya cakap dia punya cycle tu kan, supply and demand. So time tu memang they're not looking for pilots that much. So ada je yang dapat terus, ada je yang have to wait like me kan. Tapi I would say macam kalau saya 5 tahun tu is consider one of the few yang tunggu quite a long time lah before they can get a job. Because for your information, kalau you more than 7 years, you tak dapat kerja after dia dah issue your license, you have to resit some of the paper exam dekat flying school tu. Which is cost money already. So that's why kita tak nak, kalau boleh kita tak nak too long. while we wait kan. Kalau lagi awal lagi bagus. So for me, I'm almost at dekat far end tu lah. Dah CP-CP sikit. Dah borderline dah. Tapi Alhamdulillah lah dapat kerja. Kalau you see me juga cikgu, daripada 2015 sampai dah 2026, I masih dengan Firefly je. Nampak I setia dengan diorang because I rasa macam this company yang save me. This company yang save me. So I nak provide my service to them lah.
Bila you dapat job as a pilot tu, dia secure jugalah. So my point dia susah nak dapat. Tapi bila you dapat tu, you secure lah. You dah kerja like 12 years kan. So far,
yeah.
still.
So actually bila you dapat kerja tu, as long as you jaga you punya medical, you jaga you punya licensing, all the regulatory semua tu kan, should not be a problem kan. Selalunya kalau orang-orang yang go against the SOP, ada disciplinary issue, this yang susah sikit lah. So kalau you jenis yang you tak kacau, you tak buat hal apa semua, you can stay in the company for long.
I pun ada kawan dekat Firefly tu, dia macam travel Penang balik hari kan. Itu dia lah. You macam mana pula? You travel mana most of the day?
For company that I'm working for, Firefly sekarang ni, kita banyak terbang domestic route. Kita tak pergi jauh sebab kapal kita pun kita pakai ATR 72, which is the turbo propeller aircraft. So dia punya range tu limited lah. Dia punya flight time it can go the most pun dalam within the range of 5 hours saja. So they cannot go lah Japan lah benda semua tu kan, without Japan, UK, Europe semua tu, without making pit stop sini sana kan, baru to reach there. Tak boleh. Within 5 hour punya range pun paling logic for the operation is domestic lah kan. So macam paling jauh pun saya pernah pergi is dulu Subang to Koh Samui dalam 2 jam setengah kan. So ada Subang to Krabi which is about 1 jam setengah. So within the domestic pula, we go north to south, JB to Kota Baru, about 1 hour 40 minit. Macam tu lah. Tapi this operation ni best for me is because kita banyak balik hari. Kan? Kalau you go to the bigger punya airlines yang fly international, regional semua ni kan, they have like a 3 days punya pattern, 5 days punya pattern, which is you pergi, you terbang A to B, you naik stop situ. Then you pergi B to C, you naik stop situ. Kan, then C back to A 3 hari macam tu. Dan 3 hari lah jumpa family you. Tapi Firefly ni you balik hari banyak. So that's one good thing about it dah.
Macam contoh lepas ni Fan, lepas ni you ada flight ke lepas ni? Hari ni ke macam ni ada?
Ada. Hari ni my off day. So
cuba cerita you punya hari biasa you macam mana you fly
Kita pilot ni, we don't work on a fixed schedule. Kan? So kiranya every month kita punya rostering team dia akan hantar kita roster, monthly roster. So kat situ kita tengok lah, okay, Captain Farhan untuk bulan 4 ni, you terbang 1 hari bulan, 2 hari bulan, 3 bulan, lepas tu off 1 hari, 4 hari bulan off. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, fly. Dan 11, 12 off. Itulah, so tengok lah. So kita ada few duty punya pattern, which is satu, kita fly. Satu lagi kita standby. Maknanya standby tu, you tak fly, tapi you kena be ready at your house. In case kalau they call you, you boleh terus pakai baju terus pergi. Because you know airline operation ni very dynamic kan. Tiba-tiba ada weather lah, tiba-tiba ada crew MC lah kena ganti, tiba-tiba kapal kena retiming, you kena come in and rescue that flight. Very very fluid. So you ada standby tu for you to to cater for this kind of disruption. Then ada juga we go for macam for me, I'm a trainer with the company. So I ada juga additional duty which is I buat simulator. Kan? So ada hari-hari yang I buat simulator. Contoh macam esok I tak fly, tapi I have a duty which is I go to simulator untuk teach. Then ada juga macam ada days where you go to your ground clusters. So jadi pilot ni cikgu, kita nak keep kita punya license sekarang ni, banyak benda kita kena buat. Kan? There are a lot of clusters yang kita kena buat recurrent, renewal. Dia ada validity dia. Which is contoh, I give an example lah. Macam satu ni kita punya SEP, Safety Emergency Procedure. So SEP ni, dia punya validity dia every 1 year. Kan? 1 year you kena sit for the class. 1 year you kena sit for the class. And then, kalau let's say lah you fail any of these classes lah, not just SEP. All of these classes, any of it you fail ataupun you dah lapse, you tak boleh fly. Walaupun you punya license tu still valid. Tapi all this other training ni, kalau you lapse ataupun you fail, you tak boleh fly. So banyak benda yang you kena pastikan semua tu valid, pass, baru you boleh fly. Macam tu. And nak go into too detail, there's a lot of things lah. So yeah, so one of the duty juga is you have to go to these classes, which is to renew your validity for those class. Semua tu valid, baru you boleh fly. Macam tu. That's how it looks like lah in a typical punya 1 month. Yeah.
Tapi kalau you fly, Dalam 1 month tu berapa kali you fly lah?
1 month kita nak senang, kalau kita dalam aviation kita tak cerita tentang berapa hari kita fly, tapi kita talk about berapa jam dalam sebulan yang kita fly. So on average lah lebih kurang dalam I would say about 50 hours a month kan. So depends on the
50?
roster. 50 jam dalam sebulan.
Weh lah,
For me lah,
banyak.
for us dekat Firefly tu consider sikit. Kalau Asia they can go up to 100 jam sebulan.
Kerap juga tu
So
kan.
memang
Macam almost lah every day juga tu kan. Betul lah. Tapi almost
tak juga. So it's like kalau 50 jam sebulan, I would say it's about dalam sebulan tu maybe about 10 to 13 days of flying.
Pergi balik kan.
So lebih kurang dalam
2 jam setengah. Okay.
So on average, kalau let's say saya ada flying 12 hari. Okay, satu bulan 30 hari lah, let's say 12 hari flying. So kita ada 8 hari. In any roster kita kena ada 8 hari of mandatory off. Itu wajib kena ada off. So 8 tambah 12 dah 20. Dan tambah lagi dengan you play standby, mungkin you ada 3 standby, ataupun you ada apply you punya leave, ataupun you ada simulator. So it may start to about 30 days lah. Lebih kurang macam tu lah.
So basically you memang enjoy lah kerja. You akan stay lama lagi lah di Firefly ni, you rasa?
Bagi saya selagi ada Firefly, I maintain je lah. Sebab satu lagi sebab dekat dengan rumah saya kan. Naik motor je. Saya naik motor je bila dia.
Betul lah. 10 minit kan? 10 minit sampai.
Kejap je. Because you tak ada night stop apa, you tak perlu bawa beg besar pun. You just bawa beg kecil enough with your document, you punya headset lah, pelbagai semua tu, pergi lah kerja kan. Kalau yang ada orang-orang yang nampak kat KLIA yang beg-beg besar tu kan, diorang semua tu because dia pergi jauh-jauh, they have to have a big bag dengan untuk baju-baju diorang. Itu susah sikit naik motor. Tapi operation ni senang, no problem.
Yalah, rumah dekat kan. Mula-mula tadi kan you katakan ada benda yang Mas tak boleh beritahu, tak boleh cakap kan. Tapi you bukan kerja dengan Mas. Kenapa ada link ke Firefly dengan Mas ni?
Because ramai tak tahu sebenarnya macam Firefly ni dia adalah sister company to Malaysia Airlines. Maknanya Malaysia Airlines is our parent company lah. Sekarang ni under this new business plan ni, MAG Malaysia Aviation Group tu is the mother. Bawah dia you have lah Malaysia Airlines, bawah Malaysia Aviation Group you have Firefly, bawah Malaysia Aviation Group you have the catering, you have Aerodarat, and then last time we used to have Maswing lah kan. Tapi Maswing kan dah jadi Air Borneo, so dia dah separate entity lah, tak ada kena-mengena dengan kita. So ramai tak tahu Firefly ni actually bawah Malaysia Aviation Group.
Tapi Fan, sekarang ni you aktif kan, you aktif di your Instagram, you cakap pasal aviation, you ada own intention ke you nak buat some kind of business? Kenapa you share semua? In a way you jadi influencer sikit lah dalam aviation ni kan. You ada specific goal ke macam mana?
Awal-awal tu I just buat out of minat je. Actually as you know me pun, I jenis kan dulu I tak cakap banyak, I'm quite introvert.
Yes,
sampailah satu hari tu ramai orang surprise benda tu. Kata macam mana lah Farhan ni, diorang yang pendiam boleh jadi sampai dia jadi macam buat content, share information and go public, orang semua nampak muka dia kan. So cerita dia macam tu, macam ni. Actually satu hari tu my wife dia belikan I this kamera lah kan, action camera. So dia kata try lah record video-video flying atau bagai semua tu kan. So I do so lah. I buat video, I share my point of view masa I fly macam mana semua kan. So awal-awal tak ada sambutan pun, because masa I baru start TikTok kan. Tapi lama-lama tu sampai one day one of my video tu meletup sampai 3 juta view kot. So dari situlah mula saya punya followers start to naik semua kan. Then I start to branch out lah. I share more on not just the point of view, dia punya scenery semua. I go more into the technical side. I share the news. I share little bit about macam mana hidup pilot dengan cabin crew ni. I share kenapa kapal-kapal delay, because ramai people public dia hanya tahu kapal delay is bad. There are certain safety consideration to think about. Sometimes apa yang kita tahu is pilot and cabin crew pun dia tak suka delay benda-benda ni, bukan saja dia delay kan. Sometimes there are things yang that impact safety. Contohnya macam I as a captain, I rasa kapal ni ada some kind of defect yang I think if I go with this defect ni can reduce the safety margin. So kata okay, tak nak kapal ni, tukar kapal. That cause delay. Tapi ramai orang tak nampak benda-benda macam tu lah. Dia hanya nampak delay yang tak suka. Patutnya kalau depart pukul 10, you kena meet you punya responsibility depart pukul 10. Tapi like I say, ada banyak things to consider lah. Tapi we try our best lah. We try our best to depart juga. Kalau pukul 10 depart. Tapi sometimes things don't go according to plan. You have to delay, then have to lah. Bila you ambil aviation flight ni, memang you kena hadap benda tu lah. You kena terima the fact that sometimes it won't go according to your plan. Tu je.
Sebab I rasa bagus you punya POV as a pilot itself. Sebab I dah nampak orang certain pramugara kan, the steward ada buat dia punya POV lah. Now you buat pilot as a POV kan. So I rasa macam unik lah. Macam tak ada orang lain buat kan. I tak tahu. I tak nampak orang lain. Tapi I nampak
I'm proud to say that I'm one of the first few yang start buat benda tu lah. Then after that, orang lain dah boleh nampak, boleh nampak yang ni can get traction kan. Diorang pun start to buat juga. That's fine lah. Okay lah, lagi ramai orang buat, lagi bagus lah. Supaya, can bagi sedikit kesedaran, sedikit knowledge to the public, rakyat. So dia tahu, actually macam ni sebenarnya operation tu. Ada sikit sebanyak akan faham lah kan.
Tapi you tak adalah ada intention nak buat some sort of business out of it kan? Sambil-sambil
kan.
Then
after that, betul. I tak jawab soalan cikgu kan. So actually I ada juga. So tapi I ada plan nak buat lah. Tapi for now, I tak ada initiate apa-apa lagi. I tengah kumpul modal untuk nak buy a better equipment kan. Because I nak buat macam nak ajar, nak guide the students daripada SPM semua kan. Ramai, I dapat banyak soalan. Parents tanya, budak-budak yang minat jadi pilot tanya kat I, macam mana jadi pilot after SPM ni? They lost. Tak tahu nak buat macam mana. So I plan to do something like maybe a subscription based punya video which I guide them step by step. Okay, you kena buat macam ni. Ni requirement untuk jadi pilot sekarang ni kan. And then after you dapat ni, macam mana you nak apply kan dengan CAM, Civil Aviation Authority Malaysia. And then what are the flying school yang available sekarang along with the harga-harga semua, I akan guide them step by step on how to do it. Tapi itulah insyaAllah lah one day lah nanti I akan buat lah benda tu. Cuma tengah kumpul modal dulu.
Okay, nice.
Itulah.
Okay, sebelum kita end, ada tak peristiwa yang menarik lah yang sebenarnya jadi pilot ni, yang you ingat lah, yang you rasa meaningful? Sebenarnya
Meaningful ada, I think events yang meaningful for me personally lah, yang buatkan kenapa I love to do this job in the first place is after I got selected to become an instructor. Instructor tu is actually macam cikgu lah. It's a cikgu tapi you are in the airline tu, you jadi macam cikgu. So all these line pilots, line captain, kalau dia ada soalan semua kan, dia akan refer to us. Dia tanya, captain kalau macam ni, apa nak buat lah. Kalau we have this new procedure semua kan. Tapi dia baca dia tak faham sangat. Dia akan tanya kita, okay ni maksudnya macam mana, what do we do and how does it impact us. Benda macam tu kan. So for me, this is really meaningful. And also, satu lagi saya lupa nak mention, when new cadets they join buat training kan, instructors yang akan ajar diorang, bawa diorang for the first time masuk dalam kapal terbang. Okay, this is you masuk kapal terbang ni ada passenger tau, bukan kapal kosong macam nak flying school tu. Now it's a totally different ball game. Now you have a passenger kat belakang you kan, so you have to take care of them juga. Dulu masa flying school, you terbang, you terbang seorang, you je. Kalau apa-apa jadi, you je yang jadi ni kan, you je yang bear the cost. Tapi sekarang you have passenger. If you screw up, not just you, not just me, orang-orang belakang you sekali semua akan kena kan. So now you have to realize this is a different ball game. So meaningful for me, apa yang saya rasa sangat-sangat best is because when bila saya train budak-budak ni, bila dia masuk sampailah dia habis dia training tu, and then they clear dia training and dia dapat fly as pilot in the airlines. Daripada cadet pilot dia jadi a co-pilot. Dia jadi first officer, dia jadi second officer. That is very meaningful for me. Saya rasa sangat rewarding lah benda tu kan. And then bila dia dah habis training, dia akan WhatsApp dari saya, Captain, terima kasih lah Captain share all this information, share and guide saya, betulkan saya throughout my training semua kan. I rasa benda tu very very rewarding for me lah.